What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be going over the 2023 buffs. So there might be some that I'm missing, but I believe we had Iron Man Infinity War, Hulk, Iceman, Spider-Man, Shuri, and Attuma, Mantis, Viv, Iron Man, Sandman and Shocker, Red Guardian, and Red Skull. I believe those are the buffs we had. Maybe I missed one. I'm not too sure because I didn't make a video for all of them. Now, starting from Iron Man Infinity War, I don't think this guy got like an amazing buff. It was pretty much the same. I don't think he's the best. Like the only thing that changed, I believe, they made his rotation a little bit easier, but it's still kind of rough to do to like keep the plasmas up. And they increased his damage by a little bit. But I'm not seeing him, he's not really popular even now that he's a 7-star, only on defense like he was even before the buff. So I don't think this is a good buff, or this was a good buff. Now, the next one though. Oh, it was a good buff. Hulk. Hulk got an amazing buff. He was pretty much unplayable before the buff, and now he's one of the best science champions. Stun locks, massive damage. Furies cannot be reduced with ability accuracy, which is an amazing counter for Domino. Super good with the stun lock, and very popular in Battlegrounds, and good on defense as well sometimes with Inequity and his massive HP. And then moving on to Iceman. So Iceman, he was already a good champion. He didn't need a buff. They gave him, I believe, like this ability while the opponent has a cold snap debuff. The chance to apply frostbite on critical hits is increased by 5 to 30%. So if he's high sig, you pretty much have a 100% chance to apply a frostbite every time you crit. So it would have been nice if they actually boosted his critical rating as well somehow, like that science with that Scorpion synergy, so that he places a lot more of them. But they made his damage much better than before, and that's all he needed. Like, he's super tanky, he's got a lot of immunities, and also pretty decent defender, I would say. His special one is kind of tricky, and then there's also the initial cold snap. Now moving on to Spider-Man, this is a decent buff. He's not too popular, but if you pop a special one or two special ones or a special 3, your special 2 is going to hit super hard, and then you're also going to hit super hard for until the stun from the special 2 expires. So he does have some decent utility. He can basically get his webbings, which are debilitate, decelerate, and suppression. Decent debuffs, it increases his debuffs. Decelerate can maybe, if you have 2 of them, you can ignore the opponent's unstoppable. And suppression, pretty decent if you don't want to bait too many specials. But if you don't really, if you have to bait specials as well, he's got the taunts. With every single of his hits, has a chance to apply a taunt, which, it's going to make the opponent throw special, so he's okay. I actually duped him yesterday from the 7-star person I opened on the free-to-play, and I might be using him. He's not good in this meta for Battlegrounds, but I might use him. Actually, he could be an annoying defender. Moving on to probably my favorite buff of this year, and it was Shuri. Shuri was... where is Shuri? There she is. Shuri had a big problem. She took a while to ramp up and actually deal damage. Before the buff, she could get 99 passive shocks and 99 regular shocks. Now she can get 50 and 50, which is pretty much having 100. So because they increased them by another 50%. So your 50 shocks would be basically the pre-buff 100 shocks, which is so much better, man. You don't have to build up another 50 from each shock. So that's pretty good, man. And then the biggest thing they made to Shuri, back in the day before the rework, she could only refresh her shocks, I believe, only with the special 2. Now she can refresh even with special 1 and special 3. And that changes so many things up, because you might want to like refresh your shocks, and you don't want to go for a special 2, because your special 2, it increases your regular shocks. Let's say you have like 20 passive shocks. Those 20 passive shocks are going to go into the regular shocks. But you might not want to do that. You might want to refresh without, adding up to the regular shocks, because you might be maxed out, And then you can just use a special 1 and do whatever. You can just pause them whenever you want. That's why she's really popular in Necropolis, because it's so easy to maintain your damage. And damage is really strong. Like a 7-star rank 2 can, I think, take down the opponent like 8,000 per tick for 50 and 50 shocks, which is really strong. Because she's also super tanky. Like, I cannot express this enough. Shuri is literally so safe in Necropolis. Like, I'm saving so many revives in my free-to-play compared to my main where I didn't have her. So she's a beast, man. She's super good. And then also with Shuri it came Attuma. Attuma, you know, he's not the best. Where is Attuma, man? Alphabetical. There we go. So Attuma is, you know, much better on attack. I actually used him in one Battlegrounds fight, the previous meta, and he actually was surprisingly fast. Like, it took me like 80 seconds. So the good thing about Attuma is he's a good defender, really good defender, annoying, especially if he's SIG 200. And, you know, you can have pretty easy true accuracies, like he stacks so many. So basically ignore the evades, you know, easy. If the opponent is not bleed immune, you can have some bleeds on the special 3, and then with the SIG ability, you can also get some nice damage after the L3. And if the opponent is immune to bleeds, you just have massive armor breaks and increase your basic attack damage. So he's okay on attack, definitely much better than what he was. So I think he's not terrible on attack. He can definitely be used. It's just for Battlegrounds, you need like at least 3 special 1s and like good AI so that you have a lot of concussions, and then the special 3 inflicts a lot of bleeds and a lot of armor breaks. So he's pretty decent. He's much better than what he was. Now Mantis, I think this is like a pretty simple buff. The only thing that changed, I believe, was that when you hit the opponent and they have the Intimidate on them, when you hit them in the block, instead of 1 mixed emotion, you inflict 2, which it's much safer, because you might not want to do, you know, the intercepts, because intercept might fail, but hitting the opponent's block is super safe, and you get the exact same mixed emotion. So they made it a lot safer. So I'd say it's like an okay buff. Some people were afraid of using her, and now even me, I was afraid of using her because like I have to do like 10 intercepts every single fight to get 20 mixed emotions, and now Intimidate makes it a lot easier. Viv was actually a pretty decent buff, I would say. They made her Incinerates, the energy vulnerability is passive, which works now for champions like Kingpin where they shrug it off. Also, you'll deal more damage when you tap the block from your special 2, which is extra damage for her rotation, because Viv is one of those champions where you do your rotation, which is 1 SP2 and 3 SP1s, and you hope the opponent dies, because you have to wait for your solar energy to refresh again, which takes so much time, and then you also have to reapply those energy vulnerabilities, which it sucks. So yeah, she had a much better buff than I was expecting. Helps for champions to shrug off. The SP2, like I said, tapping the block does a lot more damage than before, and the special ones are pretty chunky as well. So it was a pretty okay buff as well, I would say. Now there is Iron Man, which is probably my second favorite. Man, this guy, he was so bad, and now he's so sick, man. He's the tankiest champion in the game. He takes no damage if he's got armors. He has crit resist. He has that amazing regen which can get you from 15% to literally 80% back. It's almost like fighting a Nick Fury again. He has massive potent armor breaks with his specials, with his special 1s. He's just phenomenal. He works so well for champions that get prowess. He is an insane defender for 2 reasons. Because the crit resist with the armors, his armors can not be nullified as well. So if you would want to remove his armors, you either armor break him, or you place a neutralize. You can't do anything else. Or maybe Fate still works, I think, as well. So he's super tanky because of his crit resist, immune to nullify, and also the massive regen. And the good thing about him as well is that he's immune to like Frostbite, Cold Snap, and Incinerate, I believe, when he's got an armor, and he's always gonna have an armor. So she's just so sick, man. I'm really liking my rank 2 Iron Man. Now up next we have 4 more. We got Sandman, which, you know, Sandman was struggling, and now his buff made him a little bit better. Like, people are not really happy pulling the 7-star. I wouldn't be either, because he's just not it for Battlegrounds. And most people at the top level, they care about Battlegrounds the most. And the thing about him is that he needs 6 stars. Like, if you get a 7-star, that's the bad thing about it. He needs 600 to get that Fury passive for when he's unstable. He needs it. And, you know, he has good utility. Those 3 immunities are awesome. Poison, Bleed, and Shock. He also has, like, massive debuffs. You can reverse the opponent. You might have seen, I think I used Sandman for that Necropolis Diablo. So he does have some really strong heal reversal. He has that Decelerate, so he counters, you know, Unstoppable. He's got the heal reverse, 3 immunities. His damage is okay. It's just not too good for battlegrounds. So I think his buff is like, it's decent. It's just not made for battlegrounds. It still takes some time. Up next, we have Shocker. So Shocker, he works really great for when the opponents get prowess. I believe what they did with his buff is when you do a medium dash now, it does not consume your charges if you hit the opponent with your unblockable. Because what it was, you know, you go unblockable, I think when you got 50 or more charges. Yeah, at 50 or plus, dashing past the unblockable. And if they dash the block, if the opponent blocks and you hit them with the unblockable, you basically were losing some of those vibro shock charges. Now you don't, which is much better. And I believe he has a little bit stronger special, a little bit stronger heavy after the buff. So he's a pretty decent champion. I would say his buff was okay. I would like a little bit more for him. But he has good damage, like good utility, good defense. So I'd say it's like an okay buff for him as well. Nothing too insane though. Now, my first thoughts on Red Guardian are just amazing. The buff is still not live in game. And some people say that he might be nerfed. Like I think I saw that he can only stack one fragility, not fragility, only one trauma debuff now. Which, if that's the case, it would suck because you can't do that nice rotation where I did. You basically take a heavy so that your shield fractures and you instantly apply the trauma. And then with your first special 2, you're going to apply the second one. So basically you have like 160% of the damage you deal as an extra. So that would be insane. He also has that nice slow. So if this guy does not get nerfed, man, he's literally going to be so strong. Not a good defender, but man. He's gonna be so strong. Like he's literally like one of the best buffs if he doesn't get nerfed. But so let's see what happens in 2024. And Red Skull is actually a really fun buff. So I took this guy to rank 4. He's such an annoying defender, man. Is it updated here? Yes. So he gets like an auto block, which is so annoying on his special 1, and it does last longer based on the armors I believe you have. And then the special 2, man. Oh. Special 2 has an unstoppable, so like auto block and unstoppable no matter what you do. And like one of the most annoying things for him is that he reduces he reduces your ability accuracy. I don't know where it is. Yeah, he basically reduces your stun ability accuracy for each armor up he's got. So if he's got 10, that means you have no parries. It's just so annoying. He also is immune to nullify, fatal, and stagger. Man, like you need to have neutralize or armor breaks for this guy because he also has the ability like Iron Man. He has crit resist. So man, this guy is very annoying in defense and also for offense. If you go for like close to 3 bars of power, pop a special 2 and like a couple of special 1s, you should be able to kill an opponent in battlegrounds. Like if you get a rank 4 or a rank 5. But now if I had to make like a top 5 for best buffs of this year, not best champions, best, you know, buff champions, what would be the best buffs? So I would say the best buffs first, Shuri. It made her just usable. She was unusable. Now people are just using it left and right. Battlegrounds, Necropolis, everything. She's just the best. The second for me would be Iron Man. He just got such a nice buff. He was so trash before that. Now he's very usable. Good on offense, good on defense in Battlegrounds. Amazing damage. The third one would be Hulk. Hulk is really strong. He's super popular in Battlegrounds. And yeah, such an easy champion to use because he's just very simple. Build up your Furies, boom, you got some damage. And then I would say the fourth one, it probably would be Red Skull. I think Red Skull, he was so bad. So bad. One of the worst champions in the game. Now he could be used on offense and defense. And I'd say the fifth one, it would either be Attuma or Red Guardian. Now, if Red Guardian stays like that, it definitely will be Red Guardian. But if he gets nerfed a little bit, I think Attuma would deserve that fifth spot because he's super annoying on defense. And again, in like worst case scenario, you can use him on attack and get like 100 seconds kill, which, you know, it's not the best, but he also has those nice concussions where they basically keep you topped up for the duration of the fight. So that's what I would say in order. Shuri, the best buff of this year. Iron Man, Hulk, third one. 4th one Red Skull, and 5th one I'll be Red Guardian if he stays like that. If he doesn't, it's Attuma. So those will be my favorite buffs of this year. Hopefully we see some more in 2024, man. Like, buffs are super exciting. They're as exciting as getting new champions. For me, they might actually be more exciting than getting the new champions. Like, I really love the reworks. I really like when a champion just doesn't get used, and then after the buff, you just see him everywhere. Like Hulk, like Iron Man, like Shuri. That makes the champions like so much more hype. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think about my top 5. What were the best 3 in your opinion? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.